What's going on, Dub Nation? You're watching Warriors Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Tyler Smith, and on today's show, we have major news. I'm talking a double dose of major news. One being a Moses Moody injury update for something what I didn't think we needed an update for. It was kind of a secret for a little while. And then the Warriors are targeting a new center potentially this offseason via free agency or via trade. We'll talk about all this stuff and more in just a moment. But first, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. This is why you subscribe. When Warriors news goes down, whether we hear about an injury, a roster move, or anything of the kind, we have you guys covered. We're bringing you guys a video right here at Warriors Today. And we currently have 95,000 strong, diehard members of Dub Nation here with us. Help us on our road to 100,000 subscribers right here at Warriors Today. Never miss a moment on the Dubs. All right, let's get into this Moses Moody injury update. And this came straight from the horse's mouth here. From Warriors PR, Moody undergoes successful surgery. Golden State Warriors guard Moses Moody underwent successful surgery yesterday in Los Angeles to repair a torn ulnar collateral ligament, a UCL, in his right thumb. He's expected to make a full recovery and be ready for the start of training camp. Moody, 22, scored a career high, about 10 points, 3 rebounds, assist, 22 minutes a game over 74 games. Those numbers decreased in the playoffs. Let's just say that in 12 postseason games. But this is it's good news. Firstly, glad that he'll be 100% and ready for training camp. Like, first and foremost, when injuries go down, we focus on them. You know, a lot of people, a lot of the times, focus on them on the basketball court. Let's just focus on everything being cool. Moses Moody's hand, get that all straightened away here and get him back at 100% for next season. And secondly, this sparked a thought in my head, like, could this explain Moses Moody's kind of drop off there in the postseason, like I just alluded to? Like, he was abysmal shooting the basketball, not only on jump shots, but I saw this guy airball a floater in transition. Like, he seemed completely out of whack, and especially on his right dominant hand, like, your thumb being all messed up and having a ligament torn there, it's not going to be comfortable shooting the basketball. And clearly that was reflected in Moses Moody's playoff numbers that dropped significantly. I mean, if you look at it like at a broad lens here, like, the three-point percentage didn't go down a whole heck of a lot, but the effective field goal percentage did. So did the catch-and-shoot three-point percentage. So did the corner three-point percentage. I mean, Moses Moody, from the trade deadline on to the end of the regular season, was shooting nearly 44% from the corner on threes. Now, his above-the-break three-point percentage did go up a good bit, but I don't really know why exactly that is such a stark contrast here. Overall, Moses Moody was much less efficient in the playoffs and really over the last couple of games of the regular season, which makes me confused as to where we really can't pinpoint exactly where this injury went down. Like, we've been in the dark about this. Like, the Warriors, they didn't know, or we didn't know at least, about this injury at all over the last couple of weeks or so. And it's unfortunate because with Moody kind of falling and dropping off in the playoffs, it couldn't have come at a worse time because Moody ended up starting a lot of games. He was part of the mainstay starting five after the Jimmy Butler trade and while Jonathan Kuminga was injured, and as well as following his return. The Warriors were 12-0 at one point with Moody in the starting lineup. At one point, they were 20-2 with Moses Moody in the starting lineup. And it's unfortunate that he couldn't be the floor spacer and the complementary player to Steph and to Jimmy that he needed to be for Golden State to reach their ceiling this season. Look, I think Moses Moody can be valuable. We saw down the stretch of the season him be assigned to the other team's lead guard and to one of their best scoring options in their backcourt. Moses Moody was being the number one point of attack defender for Golden State, no doubt about it. And when he was hitting his shots, he was absolutely awesome. He did a good job at getting out in transition. He did a good job at defending at the rim, defending on the ball. Like, he kind of bought into the system and finally carved himself out a role in Steve Kerr's rotation, which was so difficult for him to do to this point. And then it's unfortunate that the injury hampered him and his capabilities down the stretch. And then if you look at his contract over the next couple of years, like, Moody's extension has yet to even kick in. It doesn't start until the 25-26 season upcoming, where he makes $11 million. Like, now we're looking at the opportunity where Golden State's looking to improve their roster drastically this offseason. Like, Moses Moody could be a potential trade chip at this point. I'm not necessarily sure what you would get in return for Moses Moody, but with it being around that, taxpayer mid-level, or excuse me, non-taxpayer mid-level exception number at around $10 to $15 million, like, it's very movable, and Golden State could probably attach a draft pick and receive somebody who could be more productive in this Dubs offense. But what do you guys think? Should Golden State move on from Moses Moody? Should they trade him this offseason? Or should they see this contract extension that they offered him through and keep him to be a vital part of this rotation for years to come. Let me know what you guys think, what to do with Moses Moody. T for trade, K for keep down in the comments section. And next, we're going to move to the Warriors potentially moving Moses Moody. Who knows? Could be for a center, as we know that is a glaring need in Golden State's depth chart. We'll talk about that and some targets at the center spot in just a moment. But first, make sure you are hooked up with our proud sponsor on the program, and that is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports platform because it's daily fantasy made easy. Whether it's basketball, baseball, or hockey, you got playoffs galore going on right now, but they also have fun stuff like bowling, darts, esports, golf. They have it all on Prize Picks. Combine those sports in the same lineup and win up to 2,000 times your money. Prize Picks is awesome because they always want to make it easier for you guys to win real money in real time watching your favorite sports with fun deals like Taco Tuesday, where they discount stat projections, or Flex Friday, where they give your money back up to $20 if you lose a flex play lineup. That's where you don't have to hit every square. And our special deal here at Chat Sports, code CLNS, that gets you $50 for free when you place your first $5 entry. As for my lineup tonight in Eastern Conference Finals Game 2, I got Aaron Nesmith more than 5.5 threes attempted. I got Tyrese Halliburton more than 9.5 assists. And I got Jalen Brunson to give me a 30 ball again, more than 29.5 points. Tail my picks, fade my picks, do it at Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the promo code CLNS for $50 instantly when you place your first $5 entry. You don't need to win to receive the $50. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. All that information will be clickable down in the comment section and description of today's video. Okay, is this the year? Is this finally the year that Golden State goes out there and targets a center, an external option in free agency or via the draft? It looks like Mike Dunleavy is finally cutting his losses and cutting the Golden State Warriors front office as a whole. Bob Myers didn't do this either. And going out and targeting a center. Here's what Mike Dunleavy had to say to the media. He said, there's always, I know around here, the buzzword is size. I'd love to have the ability to play bigger with Draymond and Jimmy Butler in the front court. And we can always go to our ace in the hole with Draymond at center, which we did basically from February 8th on. That was when they obviously got Jimmy Butler in the lineup for the first time against the Chicago Bulls. But to me, you cannot go into this season with the same front court in tow. I'm done with Draymond Green playing minutes at the 5. Honestly, it's one of those situations where, like, you're just going to get killed against every other opponent you have out there. And the reinforcements that they have behind Draymond aren't all that great either. And they're not all guaranteed to be part of the roster next season as well. Like, if you look at the Warriors center depth chart here, there's like all these abbreviations underneath, post Looney and TJD, they all have meanings except for Draymond's underneath, where I just say no. I don't want Draymond running the center anymore, man. And then if you look at Quentin Post, he's got a team option. That will be accepted. Kevon Looney is an unrestricted free agent. Will he be back in Golden State? That's very, very uncertain at this point. And then Trace Jackson-Davis, his money is non-guaranteed for next year. Who knows if he'll be a part of this rotation. Golden State, what I know is they were outmatched physically and frame-wise in the playoffs. Their opponents were just bigger than them. The lineups that Houston could throw at them, the lineups that Minnesota could throw at them, they just physically outmatched the Golden State Warriors. And it was evident on the glass. Golden State, in 13 playoff games, only out-rebounded their opponent 3 times. And that's, it really was more of a glaring issue on the defensive glass for Golden State because they were giving up so many second-chance opportunities. That's why the Rockets series goes to 7. That's why maybe Steph, Jimmy, Draymond, they were all kind of gassed by the time the Minnesota series comes around. And then by then, the Timberwolves were just bullying you on the glass. And in that Game 5 that closed out the Warriors season, I mean, it was all but over at that point. Everything was cosmetic. Golden State wasn't coming back down 3-1 without Steph. But it was really, really exemplified how Golden State was attacked this entire playoff run. And really the biggest glaring issue defensively for them is their size. In Game 5, the Wolves shot 63% from the field, and on 49 made shots in the game, 31 of them were on layups or dunks at the rim field goals made for the Wolves in Game 5. Clearly, Golden State needs to address their front court this offseason, and hopefully they can get a player that makes this team a whole heck of a lot better on the back end of that defense. More from Dunleavy here. He said, you can get bigger, more athletic, more skilled in terms of shooting, passing, defending. We can improve in a lot of areas at the same time, knowing we're shored up and good in some areas. We look at those things. For sure, you can do that. We'll look at trades. We'll look at free agency. Look, this is not a we can scenario. This is a we need to situation for Golden State. They can't go into next season and expect to contend for a championship with the size that they have in their front court right now, with the defensive prowess of the centers they have on their lineup right now, not named Draymond Green. Like, as far as guys who were close to 7 feet that remain in the 2025 NBA playoffs, they're elite level players. They're some of the best players on these teams' rosters. Golden State, I can tell you right now, there isn't one player whose first position is center that is one of the best players on Golden State's roster or rotation at this point. Look at the teams alive right now. New York has Cat and Mitchell Robinson, who would have annihilated Golden State on the glass. Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam for the Pacers. Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle. We know them all too well in Minnesota. And then Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein down in Oklahoma City. Clearly, there's a trend among these teams that remain in the NBA playoffs. They have size, and they have players that can play nearly at 7 foot. So let's look at a couple of options for Golden State to inquire about this offseason, whether it be free agency or trade. Let's start with free agent options. And another familiar face for Golden State fans, Steven Adams. I mean, honestly, I would sign Steven Adams just to take him away from the Houston Rockets. I don't want to ever face him again as part of that squad. And he would do a lot as far as being able to be a screen setter and a rebounder and a shot, deterrent at the rim for Golden State. Just a massive body, and if he could stay healthy, he's still very effective. We saw it in the playoffs. What about Clint Capella, a true lob threat for Golden State? Look, these two guys aren't going to provide a lot of offensive versatility. They're not going to space the floor by any means, and most of the names on this list aren't going to do that. But what Golden State needs is somebody who's a mobile rim protector, somebody who can catch lobs, convert shots around the rim, and not allow as many looks that other teams get at that area that Golden State allows at this point. Clint Capella is about as good of a pick-and-roll lob man in this league as it gets. What about Day'Ron Sharpe? If Golden State wants to go a little bit younger, look, Day'Ron Sharpe is a player who has not played more than 20 minutes a game in his NBA career just yet, but has shown a lot of flashes of athleticism, good touch around the rim, and can block shots as well. I like Day'Ron Sharpe as an athletic young option to potentially bring off the bench next year. What about Brook Lopez? This is a name that has been hot around Golden State Warriors rumors to start this offseason. He's going to space the floor a ton while still being able to be a good rim protector, but as a perimeter defender is going to get cooked. I like Brook. He's still got a couple of years left in his career to provide some productivity, and I think that could be with Golden State. He'd fit right in the offense. What about Andre Drummond? I'm not really too interested in Andre Drummond, to be quite honest with you guys. He is a player that just does. I don't think Andre Drummond's level of decision making will be conducive to him getting long stretches on for Steve Kerr's bunch. Steve Kerr would get way too frustrated with the things and the decisions that he makes. Let's move to the trade options now, though, for Golden State. What about Nikola Vucevic, a player who we know they've had long intrigue with and tried to trade for at the 2025 deadline? Those ideas will be explored again this offseason, and probably at a lower price tag than you would have had to pay when you made those deals for Jimmy Butler back in February and what his price was back then. Look, he's not going to be a good defender, but he is going to fit this offense like a glove, being able to be a floor spacer, give them another element to their offense as a post-up man, and somebody who can have a little bit of an in-between game as well. Good touch around the rim. I like Vooch offensively, that's for sure. What about Daniel Gafford, who I had in my Warriors Perfect Offseason video to be the Warriors' new center, trading away Moses Moody in a first-round pick. Look, I don't know if Dallas would accept that, but I love the rebounding prowess, the rim protection, and just the pure body that Daniel Gafford has on him. Look, he's 6'10". He's not a pure 7-footer, but he plays big, and he can bang with anybody down low in this league. Wendell Carter Jr. is a pipe dream target for me personally, as somebody who can stretch the floor, defend the rim, move on defense, and is an underrated passer and decision maker as well. I love everything that Wendell Carter can provide. Doesn't have a lot of holes in his game. I think he would be really, really great in Golden State if Orlando's willing to give him up. If not, though, what about Goga Batadze down in Orlando? They have a treasure trove of just elite rotational bigs that arguably deserve to all have bigger roles in this league, and I think that could happen if one of them were to go to Golden State. Goga Batadze, good decision maker, good passer out of the post, whether it's high or low, and can defend the rim as well. I like Batadze. Walker Kessler, though, is a player that we've been talking about for over a year here at Warriors Today, and he's this young up-and-coming rim protector that is the pure 7-footer. He stands about 7'1", 7'2", so I like Walker Kessler a lot. It would just probably take a lot to get him dealt to Golden State. We know Danny Ainge is a very stiff negotiator up in Utah. And then a bonus target for the people out there, Miles Turner. Look, I didn't know what category to put him in. He will be an unrestricted free agent this summer, but could Golden State facilitate some sort of sign and trade to get Miles Turner on the roster somehow? I think this is the out of all the guys and all the qualities that we've talked about over the past couple of minutes, Miles Turner has the best kind of con- combination of all of them. Like, he is fantastic, and he can space the floor, he can defend the rim, and I would love to see him in Golden State. I do think it would end up taking a lot of maneuvering and a high price tag as well. But who's your guy? Name a center that you want the Warriors to add for me down in the comment section. I want to hear from Dub Nation. Look, they need to add something in the front court this offseason, and I'm intrigued to see who that might be. We know it's going to be somebody who they believe fits well in their system. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. That will do it for today's edition of Warriors Today by Chat Sports. Hit that sub button, turn your notifications on, do all that good stuff because we're always bringing you Warriors offseason news right here on the channel. So lock us in, hit that sub button. We'll see you guys on the next one. And as always, let's go Dubs.